Good morning. Hi, y'all. Thank you again for joining me on Beautiful Elise. I just wanted to say thank you for coming in. I just wanted to share a little jewel with you. I know Christmas time is coming up, and a lot of us people, some of us, not all, because I'll say for me, it's not as much as it used to be when it was a time when I was a single parent. And Christmas time seemed so much anxiety. Oh my gosh, because I wanted so much to be able to take care of my babies and give them gifts and things that they would like. However, during those struggle times, oh my gosh, it was like, how in the world? Because the kids were getting to a point of being around 8, 9, and they acknowledged that, the Christmas was fun. Kids were getting all these different toys, and sometimes they weren't getting as much as they would like to have gotten. And it was times that General Dollar was my toy shopping place, and that was when back in the day when you could get those toy guns and those toy water guns or whatever them things were that blows bubbles, those type of things. And they were like 50 cents, a dollar. They weren't, it wasn't an expensive gift, but it was just trying to do something to have my kids enjoy this time of the season. But it came a time when I didn't have it. I didn't have the money. It was either pay the bills or try to get toys. And a lot of us single parents, when, from my time, it was kind of hard to get those resources that are out there. And heads up to any single mom that's having a struggle, go to Toys for Tots. You got your local churches that is helping out with giving out toys and even clothing. I would say, not only look for toys for the babies, but try to go for some clothing that they have coat giveaways, socks, shoes, whatever it may be. And don't feel embarrassed about asking. I'm going to tell you, back in my day when I was raising my children, we didn't have all of those resources. We didn't have those type of resources that you can go and to the schools and be able to get those type of things around the Christmas time season. So, and I'm gonna tell you all a story that because I couldn't afford it, I couldn't do it every year. But the kids were getting older, 8, 9, 10. They're kids in the neighborhood that were getting nice things, and I wasn't able to afford it. So what I did was I just kind of figured, you know what? I'm gonna have to tell them the truth. My kids will tell you, I had to tell them the truth. Christmas wasn't about them getting toys, getting all these different gifts, and we trying to outdo the neighbors. We can't do that, and we can't afford it. And what it was a teaching moment as for my children and for me, because the Holy Spirit led me, even though I didn't understand it at that time, because as being a parent, you want to give as much as you can to your children so you can see their faces light up. But because I didn't have it, and I was like, oh, I feel so bad. But the Lord had laid on my spirit, which at that time, I'm just contemplating in myself, how do I do this? He said, tell them the truth. Tell them the truth. The truth was, Christmas wasn't about them. It wasn't about them. It wasn't about the gifts that were given. Christmas didn't mean that you have a bike, you have new skates and all. It's about giving, but the real reason for Christmas was Jesus. And it was the birth of Emmanuel. And that was the celebration that the world had chose on that date, that we are to celebrate Jesus, the birth of him. And I sat my kids down and they were like, oh, we can't wait for Christmas. Oh, we going to get some toys. We going to get this, that, and the other. And I said, it's not about you. I said, let me tell you guys, there is no such thing as Santa Claus, nor is there a such thing as us doing the tree thing. But however, it's about Jesus. It's about celebrating his birth. It's about Emmanuel. And that was a teaching moment. It was a teaching to instill in them at a young age and to help them understand that we're here to celebrate Jesus Christ. This is a day that the world has taken and more or less over emphasized of we give gifts, and the bigger the gift, the better it is. But the most precious, wonderful, loving gift we could do was teach our children it's about Jesus. It's about him. And I shared the story of how Jesus came about Mary and Joseph. He was born of a virgin, and how Joseph and Mary had to leave their known country because Mary had a child, and she was a virgin, and Jesus was to be born through her. And they had to leave the town so that she can give birth. And he was born in a manger. And a manger that was dirty. It didn't have much to it. And it was like a barn. And I explained it to them on their level. And it was more of, I knew the shift had happened, where they understood that it wasn't about us. It is Jesus's birthday. But it was also God letting me know, you have to train up your children in the way they should go. Because we can get so commercialized on what the world say we need to have on Christmas time, or what we need to be given on Christmas time, and losing sight of who and what it was all about. And guess what? From that time forward, it was a tradition for my little family was to bake a cake. And we would celebrate his birthday and sing Happy Birthday, Jesus. And when we did that, and when that shift took its course, my children, even though I had to tell them, there was no such thing as Santa Claus. I mean, you do what you want to do in your household. I'm not telling you this is what you need to do. But because I was single and I couldn't afford it, I couldn't afford the extravagant things that the neighbors could afford. I was in my lane, and my lane was teaching them on the purpose of Christmas while they were yet young, and they understood it. And even in that, we celebrated. So at that moment, from that point forward, like I stated, it was a shift in my family. It was a shift in the giving, and it was a shift more so of celebrating. Now, mind you, please don't think that Miss Elisa ain't give her kids nothing. She just did. No, what I could do, I did, without having to sacrifice a bill that I would cry about later and not use wisdom now, because I would have cried, oh God, I don't have money to pay the lights. Oh God, I give it. Because I used my money to try to do something that it took a simple lesson. And that's a true fact. So I leave that tidbit with you guys. I got to get to work now. So just wanted to share that. That was on my spirit for any mom that needs to hear that, or dad, because we got some single dads out there that's struggling too. So if my content does more or less feel you a little bit encouragement, guess what? Keep watching. God got more. He got more that he wants me to pour out. More testimony, more love. And I see you soon. Have a great one, y'all. Bye-bye.